Hello everybody, Angels here and welcome back to Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita. Yeah, Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita. I did remember the name of this one correctly. This isn't what I was supposed to be recording today, just to be clear. I wanted to catch up to the Alchemy anime, I wanted to catch up to Gundam, I wanted to finally record Madoka episode 10 for my Patreon, but my neighbors saw it fit to drill their holes, as they've been doing for the past 4 years. And now that I can finally sit down and record again, and they're no longer drilling, I'm a little bit too sleepy, I'm a little bit too tired to be recording anything heavier like Madoka or Gundam. So here we are with the Sword Isekai, which is a fairly light watching, so I shouldn't have any issues, even if I'm not as attentive as I should be. Okay, in the first episode, in the previous episode, we met our characters. The sword, who was named Shishou later, and the cat girl, whose name I can't remember, but I will remember it eventually. And that's essentially it. The previous episode really didn't show us all that much. The sword went and leveled up a bunch. That was kind of a blur. The cat girl was treated badly and she was a slave. She was wearing collar, assigned a pact or whatever, and there wasn't much more to that. And then she was freed by destroying the pact. And she managed to defeat a monster thanks to Shishou. And now her and her sword are traveling. And that's basically it. From what I heard, the source material has the whole leveling experience that the sword is going through, all of those battles and all that jazz, like written out in full. This episode condensed all of that into like half episode length, which on one hand, sure, I can see why it was done, because we probably spent like 8 episodes on just the sword killing monsters, and that's just not fun. But on the other hand, it really felt like it was a blur. Just window pops up, you leveled up, new skill, new skill, new skill, new skill, you leveled up, skill leveled up, you skilled, you leveled up, skill leveled up, you skill up, skill, level, skill. Right? That's what the first 2/3 of the previous episode felt like. So that wasn't great. But I'm hopeful that in today's episode we now have everything set up. The sword is all powerful, because of course it is, because we can't have a flawed or perhaps not all powerful main character, can we? We need an absolutely overpowered character. And of course, the cat girl is free now, and they're going to the capital city, I think, or at least to one of the bigger cities in the country. Sorry, as I said, I'm just a little bit sleepy, so I might be yawning every now and then. But hey, I'm tired because I went to a store to buy myself a new lamp. Maybe you can see that reflection in my eyes, the horizontal line. Yeah, that's the new lamp. It's much brighter than my ring light. Probably too bright. I'm gonna have to figure out some, I don't know, some stand for it or something to place it outside of my field of vision, because my glasses have anti-glare coating, but it's still blinding me ever so slightly. I'm gonna have to figure something out, but for now, it'll do. Lighting should be much better in general thanks to that, so hey, that's a plus. I mean, we can see that, we can compare that. That would be my usual lighting with just the ring light and my room lights. And this is the new lamp. Almost daytime, right? Okay. So, let's not dwindle, let's not dawdle. Let's see what this series truly has in store for us. And to do that, you're gonna need your subs, and I'm gonna need my sound. I was afraid I lost my cable for a moment there. And I probably should zoom out the camera just a, just a bit more. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Now that that's done, uh, subs, sound support. You can support the channel on Patreon or throw links in the description down below. Or if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you can just share my content, spread the word. It really does help grow the channel. And now, with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 2 of Tensei Shitara Deshita. I remember. In 3, 2, 1, go. Right, the black cats never evolve. And thus her goal is to go against that Fran. Right, Franken Fran. That was my very first thought. And that's Puer. Yep. She's gonna become a Pokemon. She's gonna evolve into a Persian. The music is on point. This sounds like something from Nier. I'm in absolute awe at the music. I mean, you gotta care for your weapon. Enemies? Fellow beastmen? Catfolk? First time we see the OP, isn't it? Okay, maybe it's not gonna be as light of a viewing as I suspected it to be. Maybe I should be fully attentive when watching it after all. We'll see. Time will tell. Okay, sword surfing. That's always fun. Also, she's gonna become a spell sword, essentially, which is amazing because spell sword is my absolute favorite class. Whenever I can play as a spell sword, I play as a spell sword. Archage, I created a witch with a secondary class in. I think secondary was paladin and tertiary was. No, primary was a witch, secondary was a mage, and tertiary was a warrior. And it wasn't optimal, but it was fun. That's also how I always play Skyrim. Fireball in one hand, sword in the other, or an axe. I prefer axes actually. Or some cool modded sword. Well, that's useful. Okay. Okay, so that's how we got onto the carriage. That sword was too big to be called a sword. It was just a lump of iron, or however the line in Berserk went. It's lollygots. It's what I'm trying to say. Haunt? Not a hunt, but a haunt? And saps the mana of others? Oh, no. The other way. I mean, he didn't spend particularly much time there. Also, I love the carriage. It's like a reverse strike. Ah, of course. You gotta rank them, uh, you gotta have quests, and you gotta have adventurers. What is it? Copper, silver, letters. Okay, letters work. And of course, S rank. Of course, I mean, that's always the case. Ah, a little bit of racism, huh? I mean, probably. It's a medieval ish setting, so nobody really pays much mind to age, I don't think. Or maybe rather stops paying mind to age after like the age of 9. Okay, and the goblins are going to attack the city, I'm assuming. It's a cool design for a Beastman helmet. Doesn't protect the forehead, but probably just regular, boring weapons. And he has like, what, 15,000 or something around that, probably? Ah, no, the other way around. I mean, but those are just weapons. They hack, they slash, they bash. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I like her. Yeah, they do look like that. Yeah, she has to be the living trope. You gotta pass the test. Of course, and she's going to pass with flying colors. That's a nice area. An Oni? Dude looks like an Oni. Yeah? Donadrond. Gotcha. An ogre. And that's a cool axe. Yeah, I'm not reading that. A folding axe. That's cool. And the music strikes again. It really feels like something out of Nier. I haven't played Nier. Just just to be just to be whatever. Just to be straight. Haven't played it, but I do know its music because I played through the Nier event in Punishing Grey Raven, and the music was amazing. Some defense up skill or something? Probably. I mean, seeing how she doesn't have any shield or armor, then she only has the sword to defend herself. A rook-ish berserker, essentially. Yeah, ogres do have a regeneration ability, usually. Gonna cut his axe? Oh, casting magic. Yeah, a mage, a rogue, a berserker, everything. Probably also a healer. Where's the Doro Doro dude? Blown through the wall? Oh, I love it. Just a thumbs up from under the rubble. Klimt. Yeah, probably a good decision. Nope. Denied. Of course, he's an elf, so he has some sort of a spirit magic. Yeah, it's usually the case. Spirit sorcerer. Checks out. A card, not a pendant thing. Does she have mana? Another bit of gamification. Because of course. All of them. Yeah, essentially. Hell yeah, spell sword sounds cool. That's my girl. She knows what's good. I told you spell swords are cool. Gear? Armor? Yeah, she needs money. What should be like S rank materials that will fetch her the equivalent of a, I don't fucking know, small village. Yeah, essentially. That's a lot of money. Don't you have like platinum coins? They would be a little bit more convenient, probably. That's not a lot per gold piece. Someone's gonna try to rob them, of course. Just gonna fight her at the guild building? I mean, yeah, it's a classic situation, really. New adventurer arrives at a guild, gets hard time from other guild members. You destroyed materials. Yeah. I mean, a pelt that's full of holes is not really worth anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, please do. You look like you ate bricks for breakfast with that jaw of yours. I mean, someone was willing to. She used to be a slave after all. There go his legs. There go his legs. Fran using the skill of like slicey things, yeah. Or a blade. Anybody else wants to surrender their kneecaps? Just remove their kneecaps and be done with it. Okay, that's a cool skill. Seems like the red mat, all in all, was the most injured. Everybody was just knocked unconscious, and this dude lost his feet. Yeah, gear's important. Even if just for the looks. Special skill? Probably special skill. Oh, that's it. That went fast. Jesus Christ. I thought we were only like halfway through the episode. Okay. The first one was nothing special, but the second episode, yeah, got me hooked. Tell you what. I was expecting what amounts to just seasonal isekai trash, but it seems to be quite a step above. Guess she's gonna get a scabbard as well. And a literal earring. The grizzled old blacksmith. Yeah, the dude we saw there at the end. Sit. Sit. Or is there something after credits? I don't know. I'm gonna give those credits a chance to play out. Let's see. I need to see if in the first episode I checked out the staff and characters, but I think I did. I don't think I skipped on that. Yeah, I did check out the staff and the voice actors. So we're good on that. And that's it. Okay. Cool. So how about now we go through it again? Shall we? Yes, we shall. Stupid question. The answer is always the same. Okay. Fran's parents took their daughter with them on their journey to evolve. Okay, so it was the dream of her parents as well, to evolve. Also, both her parents wield big swords on their backs, so she's from a family of berserkers, essentially. No black cat has ever been able to evolve. I wonder if it's the case of some of the black cats needing more experience than other races to evolve, or perhaps needing to fulfill certain requirements that other races don't. I wonder what the deal with that is. Or perhaps there's no evolution for the black cats, there's just linear growth. Right? They don't evolve from a Meowth into a Persian, they just become progressively stronger Meowth, essentially. To compare it to Pokemon, because I mean, evolution only elicits Pokemon uh, connections with Pokemon. I lost the word. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I wonder what the deal is. And Fran's parents, of course, died because we can't have the parents of a main character be alive, can we? Sword, magical skills, little teachings, all it takes for her to master them. I wonder if that might be the thing. I wonder how much of that teaching is on Shishou, and how much of that teaching is perhaps some racial trait of black cats. Again, maybe they don't evolve, but they learn much faster, much easier. I wonder. We haven't. Oh, no. I was about to say we haven't seen the OP yet. Yes, we have. This is the OP. And there's some interesting visuals in it. Her parents make an appearance. Her previous life. Know the death and destruction. And rotting corpses. I wonder if her story might be similar to like Raftalia from Shield Hero, meaning that she was essentially ripped out of her village. The entire village was slaughtered, because that's what this scene seems like to me. All of those beastmen hanging and pierced with pikes, everybody dead around, like a scene of a great battle. And a battle that clearly ended with one side winning because they were able to hang some people of the other side, or perhaps detractors or whatever. Yeah, I think those are all beastmen. Hard to tell though, because they're mostly just silhouettes. But yeah, I wonder if that's the situation. Her parents died. Yeah, everybody died. We need a tragic story after all. That's animated on once. Because it's CG, so we can very easily animate on once. And we're gonna fight our way to evolution. Or whatever. That's the Oni. Those are, I don't know, some random group of adventurers, another random group of adventurers, a sleazy looking nobleman who's probably gonna be an antagonist for a while. And we have more characters. Yeah, that's the ogre, the guild lady, the dwarven blacksmith with a red eye. Initially, I thought it's an injury, but apparently it's a god eye or something. An appraisal skill that can go even through appraisal blocks. The head of the Adventurers Guild, the some battle-worn guy and a guard dude or something. A demon lord? Certainly looks like a demon lord. Yeah, I love the designs in this anime. You can really tell that it is a fantasy world, right? Because very often when you have a series that takes place in a fantasy world or in a sci-fi world, and it kind of just looks like the forest you can see out of your window, nothing really super unusual. Maybe if they're feeling creative, they're gonna throw in some glowing mushrooms. Uh, but only if they really are feeling generous and creative. In this case, we have some unique looking plants. We have a weird carriage that uses just 3 wheels. Wheels with a metal base instead of wooden spokes. Very, very thick wheels. Maybe it's not wood, maybe it's leather, maybe those are like leather balloons or something. Immediately shows that it's not. Sorry. That it's not just medieval Europe someone just slapped a handful of magic into. The carriage is a unique design. It's drawn by a bipedal, I don't know, something. Bipedal pony thing. The other carriage was drawn by bipedal boars. This is a bipedal pony thing. Right? Everything immediately tells you, hey, it's fantasy. Even some of the races here, this dude doesn't look like a beast man, like a stereotypical beast man, essentially an anthrophory, right? He doesn't have a snout. He has a very human-like nose, very human-like eyes. You can definitely see that there is creativity going on here. Are her hands CG? I think they are. I think they continue using the trick where whenever she's holding a CG sword, her hands turn CG, and here the bottom of the screen cuts them off. So we don't see the difference. Yeah, the line work on her hands there was a little bit less fuzzy. Cool, cool. And yeah, you can get to a bigger city. Those, I don't know, weird bird things. Another unique thing, they don't seem to have legs, for example, which is interesting. Could they be hidden in those under those scales on their bellies, or do they just not have legs? Do they use this area on their chest like minnows, and they just suck into, use it like a sucker to join, to stick to a wall or something, and that's how they rest? Or do they just permanently fly? And you can also see that there's some thought that's been put into the design. Birds are flashy with colors, that's what they use to attract mates. Those birds have flashy antennae and flashy tails. They were actually made with like the specifics of what a bird is with mind, mostly. Cool plants, yeah. Great Wolf Plain. And, yeah. What were they talking about? Right, some trouble on the Great Wolf Plain has the monsters all riled up. The trouble on the Great Wolf Plain was the appearance of Shishou. It's an A-rank hunt. Haunt. Not a hunt, a haunt. Haunt as in ghosts, or haunt as in an amassing of monsters. That's what they call it. It was capitalized, so I assume it's some form of a proper noun, maybe. Oh. And yeah, weaker monsters spotted close to busy roads. Because Shishou disrupted the ecosystem, essentially. Further out I went, the stronger they got. Yeah, because of all the mana, all the stronger monsters can't spawn there for some reason. I don't know why exactly, but it's an explanation. I'm just gonna take it at face value. And yeah, that does explain why the monsters got stronger the further out he got. I was questioning that in the first episode, right? I called it main character centrism, essentially. But it actually has an explanation, so hey, thumbs up. Nobody knows anything about the sword at the center because we haven't seen any living soul on those planes, right? So of course. You're right. Okay, I guess he does have a bit of a snout. Monsters have ranks, adventurers have ranks. Of course. Of course they do. And of course we are going to become adventurers. Because you gotta. I mean, you gotta. Can't have a fantasy series without becoming adventurers, can we? Goblins are preparing some sort of a ritual or something. Killing other goblins. Yeah. Also, there is a lot of variety in those goblins. Some look very reptile, some look very humanoid. Cool. And this one, I'm guessing, thanks to the ritual, grows into a hobgoblin? Probably. Hobgoblin or something of that sort. I love those statues. I love this city. Another very unique thing about this series, right? It's an actually well thought out city. It's at the summit of a bit of a mountain. There are cliffs on all sides, all around, and there is only one singular path into the city. That's how you build a medieval city. It's perfect from the defensive standpoint. There's a mountain range on the other side, but no army will scale a mountain range. They won't be able to bring siege weapons, so you're safe. That it makes sense, and also it's unique in that, well, it's unique. Every single fantasy series and their mother has the usual circle, palisade or a wall, a river through the middle, and some palace by the river. And that's the city. Every single, well, maybe not every single, but like 90% of isekais and fantasy series in general have this as the first initial city. This is different. Again, thumbs up. I like it. Our first time out of the city. And of course, people aren't very receptive of a black cat. Racism is alive, apparently. Mithril, great sword, mana conductivity, skills none. And he has 392 attack. Yeah, but with all the skills, I mean, he can cast attack up on Fran and bump the attack by, I don't fucking know, 20% or whatever, and it's gonna be on par. Cast strength up and agility up, and you increase the rate at which she can attack, and you increase the damage even further. Set yourself ablaze so you additionally deal fire damage or whatever. It's a difference between a sword that hits really hard and a sword that can do many things, essentially. Yeah, you have lots of skills no other sword can compare. Adventurers Guild. Another bit of a subversion, right? The guild girl isn't just sunshine and rainbows and everybody loves her, right? Because she's the guild girl, she's the prettiest, she's the nicest, and she always listens when I have something to say, right? That's the usual trope for a guild girl. No, people hate her. Some of them do. She hates people back, which is great to see, great to hear. And those are some individuals for sure. This dude with a mohawk on his head looks severely inbred. Like, Jesus Christ. There is not having a chin, and then there is having your neck be your chin. Damn, what a design. Again, I have to pull your attention to the designs of these characters because pretty much every single one of them is very unique. Again, not just within the show, but also within the grander like range of isekais and fantasy shows. You don't usually see beastmen looking like Chewbacca, right? Or Chewbacca, or I think it's Chewbacca. They usually aren't all entirely hairy, and even if they are, the hair isn't like fully rendered. They're usually just like orange or brown, and they have like tufts of hair on their face, and that's essentially it. This dude, it's just Chewbacca. The chinless dude is just like peak design, honestly peak design. All of them. This whole quartet is peak design. If you didn't know, they are the bad guys, they are the villains. Like, you know it from just this single frame. It's no longer playing Spot the main character, it's playing Spot the villain, and it's extremely easy game. I have to be Nell's smiling receptionist of the Adventurers Guild. And of course, we gotta have a test. And Fran nails it. A bunch of skills. Again, not gonna read them all. He's 46, Ogre Warrior, Vitality Intelligence, Donadrond. Black Steel Battle Axe, lots of attack, close to no mana, lots of HP. Okay, weapons have HP, which means they probably it means durability. I don't know. Mana conductivity. He can cast spells using it. Essentially, use the battle axe as a wand or something like that. Now, the rating for that is E, so it's not the greatest for using as a wand, but can be used probably. Or maybe rating E means it cannot be used as that, but who knows. Let the test begin. And yeah, fighting. Power swing. Is she bouncing herself with the sword? Yeah. She's essentially pogoing on those rocks. Yep. Pogoing on the rocks. A buff. And we're not afraid to show blood, so hey, another thumbs up. Way too many fantasy series and especially isekais are afraid to show blood, and if they aren't afraid to show blood, they are all about showing blood, right? It's either people get bonked in the head and fall unconscious, or people get fucking mutilated in every single battle. There's no in between. It's either of the two. You either go kids friendly or you go full edge. And I'm liking that we're kinda swinging around the center here. Earth magic, fire magic, bunch of magic at once, and the final blow. Again, the music is just amazing here. Sword Art Online. Dragon Fang. Doragon Fang. Oh, so that's where he went. Yeah, he flew past. Oh, I love it. It's a blur, you're barely able to tell what's going on when you play it at full speed, but yeah, it's Donadrond flying by. Not chanting any spells, she couldn't do that without having at least two heads to think at once. Haha, little did you know. And of course, this scene. Hell yeah. She passed the test. She beat me. Love it. Casting level 10 fire spells without saying the incantation. And yeah, not gonna say anything. Identify doesn't work. And there are no ill intentions. And of course, she can use whatever class she wants. See, that's another issue I have with gamification. In real life, people rarely, very rarely, limit themselves to a single role. Even back in medieval times, even before then, a knight wasn't just a knight. A knight could also use a bow, just for the plain act of hunting for food if need be. A knight also, sometimes depending on the time period, could read, for example. He was better or worse manager of the land, right? Multiple different roles. Nowadays, people don't stick to a single role either, right? Take me for an example. I'm a programmer by trade and by education, but here I am creating content, and my actual job is teaching. And I also have a hobby of making things with leather and of making jewelry out of various things like, I don't know, bones and stones and things like that. I can do a little bit of digital art. I could do a little bit of DTP. I can do a little bit of 3D modeling. I can do a little bit of, I don't know, gardening, right? And that's true for everybody. There isn't a person who would be a welder and just a welder. Doesn't know how to cook, doesn't know how to bake, doesn't have any hobbies, just welding. He goes to work, he welds pipes, he comes back from work, he welds, I don't know, rebar into some sculptures or whatever. He's just a welder. There isn't a person like that. Maybe very few. And that's what pisses me off about gamification. Because, yeah, you can pick a class. A class gives you different skills and abilities, but what if you don't want to limit yourself to a class? Right? What if you want to fight with a sword, but also want to wield magic? Okay, spell sword, but what if you also want to do some healing? What if you also want to learn how to make potions? What if you also want to learn how to use a bow? What if you also want to learn how to sneak and how to lockpick chests? Right? What if you want to do all those things? Is there a class for that? Because if there is not, then it's just artificially limiting people for no reason at all. Absolutely none. I much rather prefer the approach that if we are going for gamification, for example, Overlord kinda has that system of like classes and secondary classes and even tertiary classes sometimes, and then there are also your racial traits, so we can essentially create any sort of a character you want out of the classes available to you. A very similar system like what was available in Arcade, for example. This very stiff picking of, hey, pick a class, just one class, doesn't sit well with me. Now, sure, She was able to pick a spell sword, which, again, great choice. A girl of great taste, clearly. But still, my point stands, I think. Guild card, not a plate, which is a bit of a departure from the classics. And yeah, materials. A lot of materials. 195,000 gold. That doesn't look like 195,000 gold pieces, but I don't know. Maybe the round ones are worth 10 gold and the square ones are worth 100 gold or something. Probably. 1 gold is around 10 yen. That's not a great conversion, is it? Yen is a very cheap currency, so that would mean gold is extremely cheap. I would have expected 1 gold be like 100 yen or 1,000 yen at the very least. But 10? I don't know. Unless those coins are actually valued at like 10 gold, 100 gold, and gold is just a unit of currency, doesn't necessarily have like one-to-one relationship with actual gold. Yeah, great materials, lots of money. And of course, people are gonna give her a hard time, because why wouldn't they? Because that's what always happens. Even Ainz, when he arrived at the guild first, got a bit of a hard time from fellow adventurers. It's a rite of passage, really. What did she throw? Oh, a pint. Should piss off and die. I'm glad her true self shines through, even if for a little bit. Probably shouldn't pull me on him inside the guild. I mean, I can see why not. None of them is really necessary. They're all just decoration for the most part. The only thing they're good at is destroying the materials from the beasts they kill, so it's better to get rid of them. An aura blade or whatever, and surrender your ankles. I did not expect that. I honestly did not. I was expecting maybe for his Achilles tendon to be severed. I was expecting him to maybe be blown back by the aura or something. I did not expect his feet to be literally cut off. I did not expect it, not in a million years. This whole situation with the very caricature-like portrayals of those characters really seemed like a very, maybe not very, but kind of sort of comedic approach, kind of in the same vein but with different intensity as Bulk and Skull, for example. Two bullies but mostly played out for laughs. I didn't expect to see blood being spilled here. Genuinely. And I like it. I like it. And yeah, he wasn't unsheathed. He remained in the sheath. And everybody gets kicked. Kicked and smacked. With oscillation, which apparently makes, I don't know, your internal organs reverberate or something like that. Yeah, oscillation destroys them from the inside out. Everybody else really got off much better than the Red Mod, didn't they? And they were the one who attacked. The Red Mod didn't even. Just insulted her, sure. I would have expected everybody to have to surrender their ankles or wrists or kneecaps, but apparently they got off with just a little bit of an oscillating organs. Yeah, we'll need you to pay to clean up this mess, and you can't be healed if you don't pay up. Great. And here we have the blacksmith. Yeah, the red eye, got a pink eye. Shouldn't have rubbed your face after taking a shit. God sight. Yeah, you can deceive regular appraisal skills, but not the God sight. That's an intelligent weapon. This scene is kind of played up for like a don don don. A villain approaches, he knows what the weapon is and will try to steal it or something, with the shadow on his face and the red glowing eye. It's really played up for that, but the opening really softens the blow, so to speak, because he's shown laughing as part of the team. So we know that he has interest in Shishou purely because of the fact that he's a blacksmith and he's interested in unusual weapons. He doesn't want to steal it, maybe wants to buy him, but not steal him. Just wants to run some tests. I don't know, bit of a sharpness test, or maybe better appraisal or something, or maybe wants to talk with the sword. I mean, a dream of every blacksmith to be able to just talk with a sword. Hey, dude, how do you like to be sharpened? Do you prefer 25 degrees or 30 degrees? Right? For example. So yeah, we know that he's not gonna be a villain. And that's the story of Fran. Alone with a collar, found a sword, and now the world is bright. She has a scabbard on her back. She has some nice gear. And is running through green plains with a literal earring. A literal earring. The grizzled old blacksmith. So we're gonna meet him in the next episode. As I suspected. There we go. Okay. I kinda get used to this light, by the way. It doesn't blind me anymore. Or maybe I just have burnt cornea. Okay. In any case, that was episode 2. And it was, honestly, much better than episode 1. Like, it's not even a contest how much better it was than episode 1. Mostly due to the fact that in episode 1 they had to condense all of that leveling stuff. Well, I'm saying condense. I would have been fine with the sword dude just waking up and having all the skills from the get-go, but that wouldn't be true to the light novel, so as I understand it, it was done to maybe not appease the light novel readers, but to tell them that, hey, we are treating this adaptation seriously. We're not going to be skipping on particularly much content, which is fine and all, but that did make episode 1 feel very long, and at some point during episode 1 I was just sitting there and yeah, skills, whatever, that's 5 more skills, continue, okay, 3 more skills, sure, whatever, just let me watch the actual fucking show. I have no interest in reading pages and pages of text that describe skills that I'm just gonna take at face value because I don't give a fuck. This episode did feel much better, honestly. The pacing was... I don't have anything negative to say about the pacing. It felt good. Maybe it skipped some things from the light novel, I wouldn't know. But from the perspective of an anime only, the pacing did feel good. And I wasn't bored, not for a single second. As I said, it really felt like no time has passed at all. It felt like this episode lasted 10, 11 minutes tops, not full 20 something, 24 I think. So that really speaks up for the entertainment factor of an episode. How long does it feel it takes, right? If it's over and you didn't even notice that it's over, that's good. Time flies when you're having fun. But I remember an episode of what was it? I had this issue with recreators. One episode, I remember everybody sitting in an apartment just throwing exposition, talking head style. The only thing that happened in that episode was someone brought a pizza, and that was the highlight. And I was just constantly, looking how much longer is left. Another issue like that I had was, I think, Bloom Into You. One episode of Bloom Into You also felt particularly slow. Besides that, I can't recall any more. There probably were, but again, I can't remember them. And that's how you know that the episode is maybe not particularly thrilling, maybe isn't paced the best, maybe it's just not interesting and they're just talking instead of doing. In this case, it really did feel fast, so thumbs up for that. Thumbs up for the tone as well. Again, it felt initially to me, I thought initially it's going to be another seasonal isekai trash, which they go in one of two directions, either total comedy or total edge. There's rarely any in between. This seems to be really, swinging between those two boundaries, never reaching like full edge. Sometimes, no, never actually reaching full comedy. There haven't been that many situations that would be played out purely for comedy. A couple of moments, couple of zingers, I guess you could call them, like the dude poking his thumbs up from under the rubble. That was funny. But there aren't any, comic relief kind of situations where you're just supposed to laugh. Everything is played more or less seriously, and everything is played realistic-ish. Meaning, in real life, not everything is comedy, not everything is a tragedy. It's always a balance. Most of the time, it's just neutral. Sometimes there are tragic moments, sometimes there are happy moments, and it really does look this way. Sometimes we're laughing at the dude poking his thumbs up from under the rubble. Sometimes we're terrified at the dude's feet being cut off, and then we can laugh at his misery as the guild lady tells him that he's not going to be healed until he pays up. And it's kind of twisted in a way when you like strip the comedic purpose of that scene and you look at it at face value, right? Someone's feet were cut off, and no one did anything more than just put some bandages on, not even a tourniquet from what I could see. And he's gonna be walking on stumps until he pays off his debt. And he won't be able to pay off his debt as an adventurer because you kinda need a pair of working legs to be going on adventures. That's cool. That's cool that they can give us bits of laugh and then they can throw some blood on the lens of the camera. I like it. I really do. As I said, way too many series go either full comedy or full edge. There isn't enough of that middle ground that can skirt both ends of the spectrum in more or less equal measure. What else do I need to say? Still not a fan of gamification, and I don't think I ever will be. I still hold the firm belief that gamification only belongs in series whose premise is sucked into a game. If it's a general fantasy world, gamification has no place there. If it's an isekai that doesn't have anything to do with a game, gamification has no place there. I'm waiting for some series to prove me wrong, but so far I haven't seen any. Maybe this one will be the first. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll see that in the future. But I think right now that's gonna be it. So maybe you guys have something more to say down in the comments below. No spoilers, please, but tell me what you thought of this episode, my reaction, my theories. No spoilers, again. If you do want to talk spoilers, my Discord is open. Link is here, link is in the description. Join it, there is a channel for this series there, and you can spoil to your heart's content using spoiler tags, but not in the comments. Again, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Tensei Shitara and Deshita, but also Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury, also Madoka Magica, also Shinmai Renkinjutsu Shino Tenpo Kei, which is the fantasy alchemist pharmacy series of the season, and also Symphogear AXZ that will start airing soon. The first episode of that series is already up on Patreon and will be soon up on YouTube as well. And other series I might pick up, and I'm also gonna have to make up for some of the series that I kind of paused, that I dropped, that I haven't seen. So this season is gonna be a bit of a mixed bag. In any case, subscribe and click the bell and all that jazz. And I also stream sometimes. Also, support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon Throne. On Patreon for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka, like Symphogear, and for just $1, you get a place in the credits, and you also get a role on my Discord server if that's something you would want. And on Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of even better lighting or a proper camera, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, it costs nothing. You can share my content, spread the word. It really helps a lot to bring all those other people to the channel. Over 5% of people visiting the channel, watching my videos, came here from links posted on Reddit, for example. So it does have a tangible effect. And right now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. I said cheers. There we go. And that's the list of patrons, that's the credits, and you can be one of those people if only you so desire.